Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Brianne Steffi with Steffi Stitch, and today I thought I would share a sewing vlog. This is going to be over the course of a few weeks. I think this might take me a while, but I have this idea that I can't get out of my head. Every year around fall and Halloween, I make and sell fabric pumpkins. But this year I thought I would challenge myself a little bit and make a themed pumpkin. And since the new Hocus Pocus movie's coming out, and I'm a big fan of Hocus Pocus, I thought I'd make some Sanderson Sister Pumpkins. I have no idea how these are gonna turn out. I have so many ideas racing through my head, so let's just see what I can come up with. If you're interested in watching how this goes, keep watching. Thanks. Okay, so it's fabric haul time. I went to the National City Swap Meet because I knew that I was gonna be able to find what I needed there. And I did. I only need to buy maybe 3 things to finish this project. So I'm going to start with Winifred. Here are the fabrics I got for Winifred. You'll have to excuse the lighting. It got a little bit cloudy, but I have this dark green velvet and this cobalty crushed purple. And I've got some gold accents here. I got these hooks. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to use those or not. So here is my plan for the Winifred Sanderson pumpkin. I could go in 2 different directions for this. I can kind of give off the essence of Winifred and do like color blocking, or I could be more literal and do it like how the front of her garment looks with all the details and the straps and the gold beading. I'm leaning towards that one, so I just kind of drew a sketch of how I'm going to cut this out. 15 by 30 inches, and I'm going to do them in 5-inch sections. Okay, it's time to cut that main block of fabric, and I'm just going to build off of this. So I'm just going to cut that middle purple section that I need, and then I need to figure out how to get those glorious golden accents that she has all over her cloak and the front of her garment. So because I couldn't find any ribbon that looked like I wanted it to, I am going to try to make my own. So I'm cutting some strips out of that velvet, and I'm going to take them to my sewing machine and use some special stitching that my sewing machine has and just try to come up with a design that kind of gives off the same feel as Winifred's costume. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that lace, so I'm just going to lay it all out and figure out what my next plan of attack is. And I ended up just sewing that lace on to my panels that I cut in half, and I'm just kind of draping them over that purple, and I'm going to sew in some little loops so that I can loop this thread through, or this gold rope. And you can see here I kind of sewed them on a little bit crooked, but I just ended up cutting one off and making it work. Okay, I filled this bad boy up, put the gold beading on it. I just have to take off that polyfill, but here is the Winifred pumpkin all done. And now let's get started on the Mary pumpkin. For Mary, I have this brown plaid, this red woven, and this orange stretchy knit. I also have a purple that I might incorporate. I also have some purple velvet I might use. So to get started, I'm cutting my main panel for this pumpkin out of this brown plaid just because I love this brown plaid and I love it in her skirt. But the main detail that I want to focus on is her neckline. And if you can see, she has this blouse that kind of drapes down, it arches down, and where the arches line up top, it kind of gets connected to her necklace, and I just really love that. So here I am just trying to figure out how to make this work. Once I got that all figured out, I'm adding this V-neck panel, kind of like the front of her blouse, and I'm either going to add some embroidery thread or make my own straps to do some crisscross ties. But you can see there I have that embroidery thread that I will loop into the necklace. So I'm just going to sew this up and stuff it up, and we'll go from there. Okay, here we are. And I'm having a hard time with these Mary pumpkins because I'm just not sure if they capture the true essence of Mary, but I like the detail. I got the necklace in there, and I am going to come back to the straps because I have another idea for Mary that I need to get out of my head. Okay, Mary Pumpkin round 2, and I'm going to focus more on the brown plaid for this one. So you'll have to let me know in the comments which one you like the best. But for this one, I'm going to do mostly brown plaid, and I'm going to do a panel of this orange on the top 1/3. And I'm going to add these rectangles on to make the tubes. So from there, I will thread the tie through them, and then hopefully I can get them to gather a bit or stretch a bit to make kind of that arched look like her neckline. So here it is all sewed up, and I'm going to add this to my brown panel. But before I do anything else, I need to figure out what I want to do for the pockets. I decided on this purple color. And for the ties, I am going to cut 1-inch strips to make some bias tape that I can make into a tie to thread through those loops I made. Okay, I sewed the tie, so I am putting it through those tubes, and then I am going to sew on my pocket, and then I'm sewing the pumpkin up and it is ready to shape this bad boy. And for this one, you really have to trust the process. It looks like an absolute mess right now, but it does come together at the end. There you go. That looks better. And for the stem, I tried to find a crooked one to kind of give the same vibe as her hair, and I topped it off with the necklace. I decided it didn't look so great around that orange tube area, so I just wrapped it around the stem. And that completes my second Mary Pumpkin. Which one do you like best? Let me know down below. All right, we got our third Sanderson sister. Let's bring it on Sarah. For Sarah, she's more of a princess vibe, and she wears a corset. I couldn't find anything similar to the fabric of the corset, so I decided to layer these two, like a pinky red and this really light purple, I don't know, organza fabric. I've got some purples, and I also have a bunch of different options for red velvet or red satin silk, I don't know what this is, and some red lace. Starting off with my main panel, I decided to go with that red velvet. And I'm going to layer on top of this a red lace. And onto the corset part, I just wanted to cut the top panel into a V to kind of give it the same vibe as the bottom of her corset. And that was my main focus on hers because I think her corset is what really stood out to me the most. And I'm just kind of tacking those 2 layers here. I didn't want there to be any visible stitches, so I ended up using some fusible iron-on tape to kind of make that hem on this. Next, I am adding the side panels, kind of what is at her hips. So I'm going to take these 2 purple strips and I'm going to gather them at the sewing machine, and I'm going to add those gold accents in with the ribbons. You can see me here just sewing a couple of long stitches so that I could gather them, and then I will tack them on underneath that corset panel. All right, I sewed this guy up and stuffed him, and it's looking a little bit crazy. I ended up hand stitching that just to tack it on, and I'm shaping it, adding the stem on and those gold accents also. And this Sarah one is definitely missing something. I couldn't figure it out this night, but the next day I ended up sewing more straps for the Mary Pumpkin and for the Sarah Pumpkin. I just used that sheer fabric and made a tube, folded that in half, sewed a seam right down the middle so I can get a thin strap. I worked pretty hard on those dang straps, and that was the best I can do. But in the end, when I show you the final pictures, you'll be able to see where I added all those crisscross straps and how it all came together. And here are the pumpkins all complete. This was the second Mary I did. I will swap it out for the first one, and you will have to let me know which one you like the best. I am really happy with this project. It was a challenge. Especially these 2 right here, just because they have so many different prints and patterns in their garments, so it made it kind of hard to kind of narrow it down. But I'm really happy with all 3, and it was nice to think outside the box. So let me know what you think of these. I'm going to try to make this, it's not complete at all, I just got all my Halloween stuff out, but I'm gonna try to make this kind of a Hocus Pocus little entryway table here. I've got my cauldron. I want to add a black flame candle, maybe some witches brooms in this corner here, a spell book, and I thought it would be a good idea to make a Billy gravestone, maybe add a Binks cat somewhere in here. So definitely stay tuned. It's still September. I haven't really even gotten started with my Halloween decorations, but stay tuned to see how I tie all this together. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.